Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Phil's Corner. Welcome to the Thursday. Man, it's been a quick week, hasn't it? The Tuesday evening stream, which of course means eBay football shirt hunting. So we'll get to that very soon. And I'm sure many of you will know the drill by now, but if you don't, we are simply here to browse eBay, see what football shirts we can find. More than likely we'll also be basically having to figure out if shirts are fake and navigating that market, such as the online space is. But we'll have a good time and we'll chat about kits, and it's good to be with you today. Thanks for those who tuned in or watched afterwards the Monday morning stream that we did this week. That was the first of what will hopefully be an ongoing series, basically weekly roundups, a bit of a kind of shorter stream, weekly news, top stories, which I'm kind of giving my reactions to. So that'll be the third regular stream, obviously, if we have the Monday morning. Tonight's stream being the eBay stream, and then Thursday being the Hot Wall, our tier list ranking show. So 3 streams a week now, hopefully, for the foreseeable future, and regular Phil's Corner episodes from time to time. The next one of those is in the pipeline. I'm going to be looking at different teams' bruised banana shirts. By that I mean a shirt which well, I'll go into it in the video. Some of you saw what I said on Twitter about that, but that is also coming up very soon. Welcome to those on Twitter or X if you're watching there. Welcome. And indeed, if you are on X/Twitter, you can join in the chat simply by clicking on the stream card, the card where this stream is, and that'll bring up a new window. And on the right, you have a chat facility, so you can ask a question there. I'll do my best to try and keep up with the chat. I can't promise I'll always be quite to the minute. I do sometimes get a bit distracted, but nonetheless, you can join in there. You can also, of course, join in through YouTube, and the chat facility again there should be hopefully fairly clear. But ask me any questions as we're going through. Of course, doesn't have to be about what we're talking about. It could be about anything else. It doesn't even have to be shirt related. Though it would make sense that it would be, but nonetheless, you can do that. And if you enjoyed today's stream, please leave a like. It makes a big difference. It really helps other people see the content, and that'll be really appreciated. And as we start, I noticed actually today is 12 years to the day since I got my first cent from YouTube. Now that wasn't actually for Phil's Corner, that was for my my personal channel, which I was basically making really bad music. That's a story for another day. But I saw it was that anniversary, 12 years to the day, and I was reflecting on that, and I'm very grateful. Thank you to all of you guys here. Again, if you're watching this, you're supporting Phil's Corner. I don't make a lot of money from this really at all, but it is, I have enough support here to keep the channel going, and it plays a part in me being able to be freelance. So I do want to say a huge thank you again. There's a number of people here who've been watching for many years, and it really means a lot. So thank you. We're a small channel here, Phil's Corner, but I really appreciate the love from the community. Right, let's get to it. Let's go to eBay, and actually, as we start, it's quite funny really, because I'm usually buying shirts on eBay. Today I actually listed a couple of kits, and actually as I was looking for football shirts, there is one of my listings. Some of you saw I posted a couple of shirts to Twitter, and indeed both these shirts, really rare shirts actually, they're available. Get involved in the auction if you'd like to. Yeah, already quite a lot of action actually already with 5 days to go. So that's a couple of shirts there, but we're not here to sell, we're here to buy. Having said that, as I'm sure many of you will be able to relate to, I'm definitely in a current position where I'm not looking to actively buy. I had a few other purchases and things, so it's unlikely we'll enter any auctions today, but that doesn't mean we can't still find some bargains. And indeed, even though again, we're not actively shopping, we can still have a good time. So let's have a look. Let's see. I've just done the classic search term that we do here: football shirts, auctions, ending soonest. There's a lot of ways to shop on eBay. Interestingly, as you start, this Liverpool blackout shirt comes up, and I think this is worth a discussion. Now, Liverpool did this for a few years. They did these kind of limited edition shirts, blackout shirts, which weren't worn on the pitch. They were effectively just lifestyle pieces. And indeed, this particular version here with the Champions print, it's funny. This would absolutely not be something I'd look out for, even as a Liverpool fan. But there is a market for it, and of course, the fact that it is actually it is limited edition. It comes with a certificate of authenticity. That certainly plays a part in that. Hey, Belgian Blade, welcome, my friend. Welcome. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, so these kind of shirts are very interesting. I'm not sure what this would have sold for at the time. I would have thought it was probably a bit less than that, but I may be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, very interesting to see again a shirt like this, which is quite quite an unusual sort of piece. Again, for me, this is kind of not at all of interest, but there is clearly a market for it. A couple of bids there at 165. Although, as I say, that's with the carry that I can't remember what they were retailing for. So maybe that's a fairly moot point. You can see Brock says the fan shirt with a badge I don't recognise. Nothing came up with the Google search. Either it looks like a red start belt, grey crest bits, blue and white. Any ideas? I do not recall off the top of my head. Blue and white. So was it actually a star shape, Brock, or was it a 5-pointed star? Are we talking, or was it a different? It wasn't like I'm thinking of the Swedish team. Norrköping, that's definitely a different way to pronounce that. That's like a kind of 4-pointed star, but they're white and blue. Well, I forget. I think the home shirts usually the blue star, but again, that's not a 5-pointed star, so that probably doesn't help you there. This item is sold, but I did want to quickly look at this Newcastle shirt because I think this is a really underrated Newcastle shirt. And this is a great pickup at 30 quid. Really nice one, especially because, now that Newcastle are back, okay, 5-1 star, cool. Yeah, honestly, nothing rings a bell. Maybe someone else who's watching could help. Any other info on the shirt? Do you know? Yeah, what kind of brand are we talking? Any other key features? Be curious to know. Yeah, the fact that Newcastle are back with Adidas, I think personally that makes some of the older Adidas shirts just that little bit more attractive. Obviously, it's still got the old NTL logo and things like that, and it's still very much an old shirt. But this to me is just an absolute slam dunk purchase for 30 quid. This is a shirt now which is over 20 years old. So I think even though it doesn't seem that old, it is getting on there in a quite a smart colourway. I like this combo, the grey and the black. So which Newcastle have dabbled with. And indeed, they had some wonderful shirts in the 80s. White, blue stripes, Nike. Blue Star. Okay. I mean, it's funny because, that honestly is an intriguing puzzle to solve, that book. If anything jumps to mind, I will shout. There's some wonderful kits. I mean, these are some of the best kits, I would say, of this period. The very shiny silver kits. This pinstripe effort is wonderful. This Umbro template was just absolutely magnificent. You might remember the Watford shirt in this template. There's a few others. So I've always liked that colour combo. Obviously, the 2002 less kind of shiny silver, but Newcastle in the Champions League as well. Yeah, I think it's a great kit. Again, they've had a few grey or silver kits over the years. It's one of those kind of ongoing themes. I think it's great. Honestly, 30 quid, absolute steal. This is great. I love seeing this happen. I love seeing this for someone else. Because that's a great pickup. Honestly, I'd be tempted. I mean, what size is it? Okay, so it was 3XL, so a very large size. Which probably explains, I think, why the price was only 30 quid. Because I think this is certainly worth at least double that, I would say. Or at least I think there's a slight premium, given that, again, there's a bit more interest around Newcastle and the Adidas thing. So not exactly a rare share or anything, but a really nice pickup for whoever won that auction. Love to see that. A very random price to list a shirt for this, £71.17. Yeah, fair. Guys, as well, I do want to say, I forgot to say at the top of the show, but yeah, as well as, if you want to support me even further, you can join my Patreon, and that is a place where you can join a community of collectors around the world. We have a Slack group where we're sharing stories, pictures, receiving shirts to then send on. If, for example, if you've got someone, say, who's in South America who wants to receive a shirt, or they're in, Australia, we've got a guy in Australia. We can kind of act as proxies for one another. But the range of benefits, check out the link in the description. There's also a shirt as part of your support. But yeah, thank you to my patrons as well. I do want to say thank you. Big thank you to those who have supported me through that. This Anderlecht shirt hasn't got any love. I think, given the price, and that's a fairly hefty £9 shipping as well, can understand why. I think it's funny because this era, the Teamgeist era, produced a lot of real quality shirts. And memorable shirts, even though we saw a lot of the same base design. It was fun to see for Adidas the Teamgeist design in many colours, of course for Nike the Total 90 in many colours, but this is definitely not one of the stronger ones, I would say. And it's funny because it's another grey shirt, which I talked about how much I like some of the Newcastle ones. Not feeling that one as much. No bids as well at 20 quid, even though that's not a terrible price. Now this shirt, this auction, sorry, it's just about to end, but I do want to quickly jump in because this is, of course, a wonderful piece of 90s Arsenal goodness, and not too much to say other than again, XXL despite being slightly outside of the kind of optimum range, the premium range, usually medium or large or even XL is kind of the sweet spot, or at least the more expensive spot, and then anything outside that typically you're paying a bit less. Well, for Bernardo's here, charity, that seems like a good deal to me. I would fully expect that shirt, wear it on something like a classic football shirts to be well over 150. So it's not a crazy saving, I would say, but then the condition's very good, and this isn't one of the most kind of in demand Arsenal shirts, but it certainly has a lot of quality, and again the condition is really, really good, to be fair. So good stuff. And again, even like auctions like this, again, they're not drastically cheaper, but ultimately you're probably going to save on anywhere else you can find the shirt, so that's really cool. So nice pickups there for people. Unfortunately that is a fake, but albeit quite an attractive one. Another Newcastle shirt. Now, I wonder if this is the same seller. I assume it is. Yes, this looks like it's Geordie 4444. I would say a much less exciting Newcastle shirt, but 17 quid, that's a great deal. And anytime you see a seller who's had a couple of kind of decent listings, it's always worth checking out their profile. And indeed, this is fantastic. I mean, honestly, guys, just looking at this here, we could spend a lot of time talking about this. This is a great collection. A really, really good collection of Newcastle kits. Wow. I mean, honestly, and I'm not a Newcastle fan, but there is like a great combination of home kits from various years, even stretching into the Puma years here. I can't not look at these kind of Puma kits and not think of like the Denver Bar era and that great time for Newcastle. But I say great time. The team weren't necessarily that great, but they were memorable anyway. We've got an ASIC shirt there as well, though, and of course the Brown Ale sponsor. This away shirt, I personally quite dislike this design, but it's absolutely up there with the most memorable, iconic Newcastle away kits. And I really like this Adidas template. This for me was a really strong time. The 2000 France notably, I remember having this template, but there were many others as well. That's probably one of my picks of the bunch, especially for the price. Obviously it will rise, but what a great selection. I mean, this is the thing, right? If I was a Newcastle fan right now, and if you're watching this as a Newcastle fan, empty the piggy bank, because I'm telling you will be able to find at least one or two good deals. I mean, there's shirts here that don't have any bids on. Again, I am on a fairly like a self-imposed no buying restriction tonight, unfortunately, because there are some really good pickups here. But again, I'm not a Newcastle fan or anything. Still, this is great. I'm just pouring through here. The condition looks good, and again, based on what I'm seeing, I'm not seeing obvious signs or any warning signs, any red flags for fake kits. Obviously, you should always do your due diligence. But I mean, look at it. Look at this kit. You see, this 2009 shirt. I think this is a really sneakily interesting shirt. Look at that embossed detail here. On the bottom of the shirt. That's fantastic. The stripes don't quite go on the back, but they're halfway there as a back neck detail. And it's funny because when I see like an inside section of a shirt like this and it's worn, in some ways I kind of think, okay, that's the sign of a shirt that has been loved, has been worn, but it's still in great nick. The sponsor's still good there. Again, there's some of the 90s stuff here, not much, but a few bits. Nice. Geordie 4444 with a great selection of kits. And as I say, I'm going to keep this tab open And as we kind of close the stream, we'll kind of see what prices these go for. But it's awesome. Just like, if you're a Newcastle fan, again, obviously with the caveat that prices could just skyrocket. That's really cool to see. That is really cool to see. I mean, if you're not a Newcastle fan and you just want to pick up some potential bargains, you could be in for some steals here. I mean, again, this right. Let's do a quick bit of research. This Newcastle third kit, there is no way this kit will be found for anywhere or anything less than 80 quid, I would say, online. And maybe I'm wrong on that. Sometimes kits are weirdly like not rare. But here we go. Vintage football shirts. They're quite expensive. Not as bad as a classic, but they're kind of up there. 250. Now that is pretty high. I would be more expecting a kind of 150, but still. Here's Toon kit collection 115. Okay, so that's in an XL. What was the one on here for? I mean, it could be a big size because we did have the triple XL. So let's have a look here. So it's an XXL. So again, large size, but still, I think in terms of like price, like here's one for. Okay, so that's a different year. We've got 180. I think for me, a kind of 125 to 150 would be a sort of a rough market value, and it's there for 32 quid. I'm fascinated to see what that goes for. Let's just do ended soonest. Of course, it's not just that kit. We've got some other great. This is just great. I know I've spent a lot of time on this, but this is great. This is great to see. Just someone's collection of Newcastle kits. Available again, potentially for some great prices, and fair play to Geordie 4444 for kind of leaving it to the auction. Very interesting. Well, we'll keep an eye out. If that goes for under 3 figures, that's a good deal. If it goes for under 50 quid, that's an incredible bargain. Even though it is XXL, let's wait and see what happens there. But obviously, we can continue for now. But I hope everyone's doing well tonight. I hope everyone enjoyed. For those who are, fans of Premier League teams or La Liga, Serie A, obviously quite a few of the leagues kicking off at the weekend. Football is well and truly back. I hope everyone enjoyed that. Obviously, depending on your team, you may have enjoyed that more or less than others. But nonetheless. It's good to see. I decided, I was invited to join a fantasy league, and I don't typically get involved with Premier League fantasy, but I thought I'll go on. I'll try and keep updated this year. The main league I'm in is like a head-to-head league, which is quite fun. I've been in similar leagues for other sports where you kind of you're going against another team. And you have a table and that sort of thing, and I lost by 2 points, and my squad was quite mixed to say the least. So work to do, it's fair to say, in the fantasy space. But anyway, I don't think anyone needs my fantasy football advice. I'm much more excited, or much more on it with NFL fantasy, and actually that's a few of you know I'm big into that, and I joined a dynasty league a couple of years ago with a group of people, and that's been fun. And I really like that aspect of actually having the same team over multiple years. It adds a lot, and it's obviously a massive commitment, but honestly it's given me a huge I was already watching a lot of NFL, and I will confess I watch a lot more of that than I do football these days. Although for my job, of course, I do wear a lot of I do wear a lot of shirts. I do watch football to keep up to date, of course, with the kids. But I have to admit, I could if you got me talking about NFL, I could talk for a long time. Now this is a fascinating piece here. A supposed match prepared shirt from Sporting. I was going to say Sporting. Well, Sporting Lisbon. Sporting. With the old UEFA Cup patch, and this name set is there. This This is a very naughty name set. Looks like it's going to come straight out of like a Sports Direct or what have you. Now, just jumping back, I cannot believe that this shirt. Okay, it did jump up. I was going to say it was at 30 odd quid for a long time, but £62 is an incredible price. Great deal. I mean, it's not, this is with the assumption that it is real. I think it is, or at least there's nothing that's put me off immediately. What a steal. I mean, this is a shirt which we couldn't see. We found in the another size for 115. What a pickup. There are better Newcastle shirts out there, don't get me wrong, but I do think, again, that is a great steal. eBay is alive and well. Every time we do this, we stream on a Tuesday, I continue to be convinced that eBay is actually a very good platform for shirts. It takes time. You find many more misses than hits, but when you find the hits, they can hit pretty well. I'm just honestly amazed at that price. I mean, again, we've seen crazier savings, but to me, I would confidently say that is half the market value for a shirt in superb condition. It is XXL, so in that sense, that is a factor, and that probably is one of the biggest factors behind the price staying that low, but nonetheless, brilliant stuff. And again, this seller has many more. I mean, look at this shirt. Again, with no money in the kitty, we are not going to enter into these auctions. But I'm telling you now, if you're a Newcastle fan, you need to get involved in these. Coming to this shirt here. So this is, again, what's most interesting about this is that we have supposedly a match prepared shirt. So the descriptions are key here. There's very little in the way of a description, because really I would want to understand exactly where the shirt was sourced from. Don't get me wrong, regardless of whether it is match prepared or not, this is a great shirt, and I think the fact it's in long sleeves, it's got the name set, that old patch. There's things to like. But if you're going to be spending this sort of price, at the very least, I'd want to know a bit more about where it's come from. The seller has a 98% rating, which is okay, but that's enough for me to kind of pause and want to. Again, I definitely want to find out a bit more before entering that sort of auction. But an interesting piece, and obviously, again, when we're looking at shirts like this, I think we take for granted maybe that the access to match prepared or even match worn shirts is much easier in the modern game. Going back 20 years, they are simply harder to come by. There was much less of a market for this sort of thing, so they are harder to find. As a result, the premium you pay is obviously a bit higher, but a very interesting show there. Not the kind of thing you see every day. Indeed, there's a signed shirt, Celtic shirt from this season, but not of interest. Now, I'm going to just assume this shirt is fake because it has no bids. Indeed, it does look to be fake. So we can move on pretty swiftly. But, again, you got the same from our seller, Geordie. Right, let's look at this international shirt again. This is probably fake. Almost just by the name set, we can assume it's fake. That is a classic fake name set. Indeed, the Nike swoosh as well is definitely dodgy, as is the crest. So that is just a straight up fake. Honestly, even just a very basic comparison against the real shirt will tell you that, but that is an incredibly dodgy swoosh or Futura logo and crest. So, the battle against fakes rages on. This particular shirt strangely ended up being a bit harder to find than some of the other third shirts, the 2019 third shirts. We talked about these briefly on Monday's stream. Yesterday feels like a long time ago. On yesterday's stream, no wonder I was calling it Thursday today. Yesterday's news stream. So if you do want to get a few more thoughts on these shirts, you can check that out. But in short, I think this was a great collection, one of the best modern collections of kits. And I personally love this kit. This is easily one of my favourites. Yeah, but anyway, that's just fake, so we can move on. I don't remember this jacket from France. But that's an intriguing item. That Futura logo is tiny. Anyway, we'll move on. We will move on. Now, I'm thinking, guys, we'll have a slightly shorter stream today just because, yeah, I don't want to necessarily go on quite as long. However, I do want to make a final call out. Any questions, any comments, please do feel free to leave them in the chat. You can do that on Twitter or you can do that on YouTube. Dagenham and Redbridge, says Miller. Now, I don't know if that's a shout out of support for the team, getting the name out there, or if that is a response to something I said. Apologies, Miller, if I've misunderstood your comment there. But if it is a shout out for Dagenham and Redbridge, that is not a million miles away from where I grew up in Rochford in Essex. So shout out to Dagenham and Redbridge. But yeah, like Miller, you can get involved in the chat, or indeed you can do that on YouTube as well. Do shout with any questions, guys, as we draw to the back end of tonight's stream. A bit of a shorter one on eBay tonight. Looking forward to Thursday's Hot Wall stream. And actually, one thing we'll probably do, I'm thinking what I might do is actually rank the new Swedish league shirts. Again, I tweeted about this just the other day. The retro kits. Every team in Sweden has released a retro shirt, which is really sweet. Something I've been banging on about for years to say leagues should do retro weeks and things like this. It's just such a creative and a fun way to get retro kits out there, and they would look amazing playing against each other as well. If you did it for charity, you could really kind of do a lot of good stuff. So I would definitely say, well, I want to look at them at some point, and I might rank them as a batch this Thursday for the Hot Wall, which will be fun. Yeah, who has the best retro shirt in Sweden? So we'll more than likely get to that. A few other vaguely interesting items. We've got a Slovenia shirt here. That is quite a sponsor there for the Nottingham Forest training shirt here. Pocket Vet. Very interested. And just looking at no bids for. I'm very surprised to see no bids. I mean, I was talking up this seller and 5XL. Again, I think that almost by itself explains it. So that's the thing. These shirts are in very large sizes, but still, if either you are large, XXL or higher, or bigger, so then these shirts are particularly good. Even if you're not, there's some bargains to be had here. So that is good stuff. Surprising again to see no bids on that particular Newcastle shirt, but nonetheless, I'm just loving what the seller has to offer. Right, can we finish with anything really exciting? If not, we will call things to a close nonetheless. But thank you for tuning in, guys. It's been a slightly shorter stream, slightly quieter stream, but I do appreciate your support. I do appreciate you for whether you're watching this in the background, maybe you're watching this after the fact. Thank you so much. It does really mean a lot. And again, thank you for those who watched yesterday. Yeah, the regular streams. I've been really happy to kind of get back into some sort of rhythm. Obviously, we've not made quite every week, but it has been great to just to get them going. We've been simultaneously streaming on Twitter. That's been going well. So there's been some encouragements, and I do want to thank you. Right, we're going to finish with this Lazio shirt. This is a wild design. I mean, Umbro kind of went pretty crazy at various points in their history, but this Lazio shirt, and if we just let's date it, we'll use Old Football Shirts, this site that I keep using. It's a community driven database, and indeed this is the 1996 Lazio shirt. Now I must say, looking at this, it truly does stand out as a fantastic, almost like a mashup. You've got the pinstripe section here in combination with the very kind of gritty, almost grungy kind of looks like kind of paint splatters, scratches, whatever you want to call it, with the name of the team there as well. That probably wouldn't get past UEFA today, would it? But even just the kind of the sponsor logos, obviously the Umbro logo there, matched to the colour of the eagle on the crest. Just a brilliant get. And you can see here, already at 270 quid now. I'm surprised it's that high. I would have thought this shirt is probably, again, if you'd have asked me to value it, I'd probably be thinking much closer to 200, if not less. So this speaks to the shirt's value. And indeed, if we just try and find, let's just do a quick search for the Lazio 1996 away shirt and see if we can find it online. Because again, if we can find out what it's sold for on other sites, it gives us an idea. We've got a few listings here. So obviously this could have been sold a number of years ago, but Classic had it at one point at 125, albeit 5 out of 10. And indeed, vintage football shirts, you kind of, when you see this style of picture on vintage football shirts, you know it was from at least a few years ago for 75 quid. So it's clearly not, I mean, here's one without the sponsor for 175. So, okay, so this is, again, we've got another one here. That's the same Classic one, sorry. So it looks like they've been available at various points for under 100. So very interesting to see the price of this auction so high. But of course, it could be that actually, the listings that we were looking at were from many years ago. And this is part of one of the tricky aspects of trying to value a shirt. Obviously, if it is a relatively rare shirt and there aren't many listings, and the only ones you can see are sold listings, if they are actually from several years ago, it does kind of skew the perception or the kind of the expectation around price. So definitely something to consider when you're valuing your shirts. In this example, again, given the kind of price we're talking about here, clearly a very desirable shirt for collectors, and that's with another hour to go. But it is a great piece, and honestly, given the size as well, it's a size large, which is kind of the sweet spot, as we talked about earlier. Really, really sweet pickup. But I think, on that note, and again, I'm just going to come back to this page. I think this is the story of tonight. This great collection of Newcastle kits. I'm just loving the selection. Obviously, again, the sizes are quite large, but nonetheless, great to see. Really, really cool to see. And I think that'll do it for today. So thank you. Whether you tuned in again on X or Twitter, whether you are on YouTube, for those who chucked in a few comments, and indeed for those of you who are lurking in the background, great to have your company. And Thursday afternoon, come here, be here, usually about 2 o'clock in the afternoon UK time. We will be ranking shirts, most likely ranking the new Swedish retro shirts, Swedish League retro shirts. What's it called? The Allsvenskan? How do you pronounce that? There's some really cool kind of minimal retro kits. You've probably seen them on Twitter, but we'll stick them on the tier list. Will any of them make the Volcano tier? Tune in on Thursday to find out. And don't forget, you can check out yesterday morning's weekly roundup stream. I talked about the Adidas third kits. We also talked about some of the kind of notable kits that are worn at the weekend, including Barcelona wearing the Siniera kit for another season. So a bit of a discussion on that. And I shouted out a particular shirt from the Serie A round of matches, which I enjoyed as well. So you can check that out too. But thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your company once again. I will leave you with the outro scene. All the best though. Have a good rest of your day, and I will see many of you on Thursday. And if not, see you around. Take care, guys.